I really debated talking about this game, partially because it came out like 2 or 3 months ago, and I don't know, I thought, like, who really cares about the review for this? But I decided to pick it up on Black Friday. It was like $25, so why not? And I was pleasantly surprised. I'm Nima, and I want to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy. So I picked it up for the PlayStation 5, and yeah, it was one of those games that I knew was coming out, but I just didn't really care. Every trailer I saw for it, all the gameplay, it just kind of looked basic. And I'm one of those people who got burned on the Avengers game. Even furthermore, I'm not a Marvel guy. I really don't. I'm not a DC guy either, don't get me wrong. But I'm not like a superhero person. Like, I'll watch the movies sometimes. There's many of them, like, I haven't seen. I'm just not, like, into that world too much. It doesn't interest me as much as it does a lot of people. But, I mean, I have a heart. I like Deadpool. I like Guardians of the Galaxy. So, there was that attachment, but that also made me think, like, maybe this won't be as good. So, $25, yeah, I'll do that. That's, 60% off the price. So, yeah, that's worth the risk. Picked it up and loved this game. Like, I'm not saying that it's like game of the year kind of stuff, but I will say this. Put in a room with Metroid Dread and Guardians of the Galaxy, I choose Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm sorry. Like, it's just more fun. It is, at times, really high up there in 2021 game releases. Like, there are definitely moments in this game where I just feel like, wow, they nailed it. Like, this is about perfect. And I mean that in every aspect, honestly. Like, the character design is really good. I love seeing, like, the more comic book style. I love seeing the aspect of the story. Like, they don't tell you the same story that you hear over and over again in the movies. The characters aren't really even, I don't know, I'd say parallel to the ones in the movies. Like, they have their own sensibilities. Like, Gamora is far more empathetic than she is in the movies. In the movies, she's like kind of a robot. And in this, she's actually like more of a being, like, with the capacity to care. Drax is outright hilarious. Like, Drax probably gave me the most laughs of any character of any video game so far this year. There were so many moments that I just enjoy him, as well as Mantis. Mantis comes into the game, and so basically, though, the whole story is you are the Guardians, and you're going into a quarantine zone where there was like some kind of outbreak amidst the end of a war. They don't really go into like a lot of that, and I don't know the lore, so I'm sure somebody could tell me in the comments exactly what happened. But anyway, you're in there, and you discover like this little item. I say item for the lack of a better term, but it's like this, I don't know, this being, it's spiky and black, and it shoots all over the room, and you're then confronted by a big giant enemy, and this black spiky thing consumes the enemy, and it escapes, and you start to realize how things are going to play out. As you're leaving the quarantine zone, as everything is crumbling around you, you are then picked up by Nova Corps, and from there, the whole story just kind of breaks free, and there's a lot to it. Like, all I'm saying is, I know I didn't explain a whole lot, but what I am saying is at the end of the game, you have to save the galaxy. Like, it's not just a world, it's not just your life. No, the entire galaxy is going down. The Nova Corps and all of them, they're panicking. They've got their own stuff. I don't want to say too much into the game, but essentially, it comes down to you. Like, you and your team. And the thing is, like, what I really liked about this game, and I feel like what the marketing team really did wrong, was they didn't express how they took building the wheel and changing it enough to make it interesting. And how this game really built upon and made its own mechanics far better than a lot of games in this kind of genre, which I think, honestly, it works really well with you as Peter Quill. And I'll explain that, because I thought this game had a lot of like hack and slash stuff, and that was kind of it. Maybe a little bit of gunplay, but whatever. Like we've had that so many times, but that's not the crux of the battle at all. Like the battle system is more like you're a quarterback. And you gotta, as the signal caller, you gotta make the decisions. This game is less like reactive and more tactics. Like your hand-eye coordination isn't nearly as important as your ability to tactically think on the battlefield, because as your job, you're still able to fight, and you're encouraged to. Like you have to still do the gunplay and all that stuff, but you also have to tell your teammates how to react and what to do. Now, not motion for motion, but they have superpower kind of moves, if you will, and you dictate when they do it and how they do it. And trust me, that actually makes a big difference. You can chain together like big combos if you do things in the right order. Or at some point, your blasters also get like an element to them. Like you can have fire, lightning, wind, whatever, and you combine them with one of your allies' superpowers, and you create a different kind of move. It creates a different kind of chain of events that happen. And these things are like tide turners in battles. Like it's super, super important. Like your job is really the most important thing. Like you can't really hack and slash your way through this game without doing some of those tactics, and especially on some of the bosses and stuff, super, super important to do that. Not to mention, one of my favorite parts of the game and the battle system in general is there's a huddle sequence that happens sometimes when you're in like really heavy, strong battles and things are looking down. You have this option to go into a huddle, and there you kind of give your teammates a pep talk, and then Star-Lord will put a song in, and throughout the battle you're still hearing like the sound effects and whatever, but you're also hearing like that great 80s song that kind of like was the crux of his impassioned speech to get everyone fired up, and it's just like really cool. Like I thought like that was a really great element to the game. Not to mention, and I think I did a bad job talking about the story, but the story really does push the narrative, and it pushes you. I don't know how many times I've set up to just play for like 30 minutes or an hour, just to kind of like get through part of it. Maybe the family was going to come home pretty soon, and I didn't want to like take up the TV. But before I knew it, I was playing for like 3 hours. Like, I'm literally trying to get ready for for Loop Hero, Final Fantasy 14, the expansion pack, all of that stuff. And I'm still playing Guardians of the Galaxy, which honestly was a game I didn't even think I would end up reviewing. But I thought I should, only because I was wondering like, how many other people like me kind of passed on it, because honestly, the marketing team did a horrible job. They really did. Like, let's be honest. Most people who end up playing this game are pleasantly surprised and amazed, and like, why did I miss out on this? Why was Deathloop far higher in my priority list than this game? This game is amazing, but they didn't go into any of it. They barely explained, the battle mechanics and how maybe just a few slight tweaks, but it really revolutionized how you kind of play this game. I don't know if you can do that in any other game, but you have to at least appreciate the creativity they had to say, hey, we have a unique character who's kind of like a leader. Let's do something different with him. There's not a lot of game companies that would do that. They would just throw in, hey, just button mash and let's make $60 a copy. Who cares, But this is definitely not that. The developers, the programmers, they did so much for this game. And the writers, I can't say enough about the story and the dialogue. Like, I love the dialogue. I love the back and forth. This game is definitely one that I would say is worth picking up. Probably my top 5. Yeah, I would definitely say it's in the top 5 of games I've played, especially on the PS5 or Xbox Series. Like, it's way up there in a lot of the releases that have come out this year. I'm trying to think, like, honestly, if there is a PS5 game that was better. I mean, maybe Tales of Arise. Like, I'd say it beats Resident Evil, probably beats Ratchet and Clank. There's not a lot of games I think compare with it, just because of how fun and engaging it is. Now, I mean, the replay value on it, though, is pretty much nil. So, it's a single player. action adventure game that tells this story, and they do it well. And that's the whole crux of the entire game. And I don't know why I keep saying crux today. Apparently that's just what I feel like doing. But no, this game's great. I really liked it. Hope a lot of you picked it up for like $25. If not, when they have a sale like that so early on, most likely there's going to be another one. So I would definitely be on the lookout for another sale. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you. Take care. Have a good one.